Have you ever wondered what Jacob's law in UX is? Well, let's unravel this mystery together. Jacob's law, a guiding principle in the realm of user experience or UX design, is a fascinating concept that has shaped the way we interact with digital interfaces. In essence, it's about understanding and anticipating user behavior to create intuitive and user-friendly designs. But what's the story behind the name? Well, it's named after one of the most influential figures in the field of UX design, Jacob Nielsen. A renowned Danish computer scientist, Nielsen has been a significant force in shaping the landscape of user experience. His profound insights and pioneering work have made him a leading authority in the field. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is Jacob's law? It states, users spend most of their time on other sites. This means that users prefer your site to work the same way as all the other sites they already know. It's a simple yet powerful idea. It reminds designers to prioritize familiarity and consistency in their design decisions to help users feel comfortable and adept while navigating digital platforms. So why is Jacob's law so important? It's because it keeps the user at the heart of design. It encourages designers to look beyond their own creative instincts and consider the broader user experience. It reminds us that design isn't merely about aesthetics or innovation, but about creating an intuitive, effortless, and satisfying experience for the user. This law has been a cornerstone in UX design, guiding designers towards creating user-friendly interfaces. It has shaped countless websites, apps, and digital platforms that we use every day, making our digital interactions smoother and more intuitive. So there we have it, a brief introduction to the fascinating world of Jacob's law in UX design. An essential principle that takes us beyond the surface of design and into the mind of the user, reminding us that familiarity breeds comfort and simplicity fosters proficiency. So let's delve a bit deeper into what this law is all about. Now imagine you walk into a store for the first time. What would you expect? You'd probably expect a certain level of consistency, right? You'd expect to see aisles neatly organized, signs pointing you in the right direction, perhaps a checkout counter near the exit. Why? Because these are common characteristics you've encountered in other stores. This expectation of consistency based on previous experiences is at the heart of Jacob's law. Let's dive a bit deeper. Jacob's law, named after Jacob Nielsen, a renowned web usability consultant, states that users spend most of their time on other sites. This means that users expect your site to work the same way as all the other sites they already know. So if we go back to our store analogy, it's like walking into a supermarket and expecting to find the fruits and vegetables in one section, the dairy products in another, and the checkout counter near the exit. You've been to other supermarkets, you know the drill. You don't want to waste time figuring out a new system every time you walk into a different store. The same principle applies to the digital world. When users visit your website or use your app, they bring with them the experiences and expectations from other websites or apps they've interacted with. They expect certain elements to be in certain places, they anticipate specific functionalities, and they predict certain interactions based on their past experiences. If your website's navigation is drastically different from what they're used to, or if your app doesn't function in the way they expect, they might get frustrated and leave. So, in essence, Jacob's law is all about designing your digital platforms in line with user expectations to make their experience as smooth and enjoyable as possible. In essence, this is what Jacob's law is all about. Users' expectation of your website based on their experience with others. So, you may ask, why is this law so important in UX design? Well, let's dive in and find out. Jacob's law essentially revolves around the principle of user expectations. It's all about giving users what they anticipate, and this directly ties into the user experience. When a user interacts with a website or an app, they bring with them a wealth of prior experiences. These experiences form a mental model, a kind of roadmap that guides their actions and expectations. Now imagine if every website or app behaved differently. It would be like waking up one day to find that the steering wheel in your car now controls the brakes. Confusing, right? That's why consistency is key in UX design. It simplifies the learning curve, making the user feel instantly at ease. And that's where Jacob's law comes into play. It encourages designers to align with the user's mental models, to create experiences that are intuitive and user-friendly. This isn't just about making things look pretty, it's about making things work in a way that users expect them to. Why is this important, you ask? Well, it's simple. A good user experience leads to increased user engagement. When users find a platform easy to navigate and understand, they are more likely to stay, explore, and engage. It's like walking into a well-organized store. You know where to find what you need, and you're more likely to browse and buy. Jacob's Law is the compass that guides UX designers in creating these efficient, user-friendly platforms. It's the secret sauce that can transform a good design into a great one. It underlines the importance of understanding the user, their expectations, and their needs. It reminds designers that they're not designing for themselves, but for the user. So, the next time you find yourself effortlessly navigating a website or app, remember Jacob's Law. It's the silent hero behind that seamless experience, ensuring that you, the user, are happy. And as we all know, remember, a happy user is a returning user. But how can we apply Jacob's Law in our UX design process? That's a question worth exploring. To start off, we need to grasp the essence of Jacob's Law, which states that users spend most of their time on other sites. This means they prefer your site to work the same way as all the sites they already know. So, how do we put this into practice? One of the key ways to apply Jacob's Law is by understanding user expectations. Users have a mental model of how websites should work based on their previous experiences. If your website or app behaves differently from what they're used to, they might find it difficult to navigate, leading to a poor user experience. Therefore, it's essential to understand these expectations and ensure your design aligns with them. Next up is researching popular design trends. This is where you'll realize the importance of not reinventing the wheel. Let's say you're designing an e-commerce website. Users are likely accustomed to seeing the shopping cart on the top right corner of the screen. So, it would be wise to place your shopping cart icon there too. Following established design patterns makes your site intuitive and easy to use. Finally, you should incorporate these insights into your design. This might mean making small tweaks to your layout or overhauling your entire interface. It's all about making your site feel familiar and user-friendly. Remember, the goal isn't to copy other sites, but to learn from them. Take the best parts of what's out there and make them your own. Now, you might be thinking, but I want my design to be unique. And that's perfectly fine. You can still inject your creativity and individuality into your design. Just make sure it's not at the expense of usability and user expectations. In conclusion, Jacob's Law is not about stifling creativity, but about creating a balance between familiarity and innovation. It's about understanding that user experience is paramount and that oftentimes the best user experience is one that feels familiar. Incorporating Jacob's Law into your design process can greatly enhance the user experience. So, what have we learned today? We've taken a deep dive into a fundamental principle in user experience design known as Jacob's Law. It's the idea that users spend most of their time on other websites, not yours. They've developed expectations based on their experiences on those other sites, and they bring those expectations with them when they visit yours. Jacob's Law reminds us that as UX designers, we're not just creating a standalone experience, we're participating in a broader, interconnected web of user experiences. It nudges us to think beyond the boundaries of our own design and consider the wider ecosystem of digital interactions our users encounter. We've learned that when we align our design with the patterns and conventions that users are already familiar with, we can create a more intuitive, seamless, and satisfying experience for them. This is not to say that innovation and uniqueness should be shunned. However, these should be balanced with the user's comfort and ease of use. This law is vital to UX design because the success of our design is determined by how well it meets user expectations. If a user can navigate your site or app easily because it's similar to what they've encountered before, they're more likely to stay, explore, and engage. This can lead to higher user satisfaction, greater engagement, and ultimately, increased conversions. We also touched on the practical application of Jacob's Law. It's not just a theory but a guiding principle that can inform every decision we make in the design process. From the placement of navigation elements to the use of familiar icons, Jacob's Law can help us make design decisions that feel intuitive and natural to our users. In essence, what Jacob's Law teaches us is that good UX design is not just about creating something new and exciting. It's about understanding our users, their habits, and their expectations. It's about creating a design that feels familiar, intuitive, and easy to navigate. The next time you're designing a website or an app, remember Jacob's Law. It could be the key to your success.